What you are about to see is real. All video and audio was captured in an actual paranormal investigation. Nothing has been manufactured or staged.
On this episode of Local Haunts, the team heads back to St. Augustine, reported to be the most haunted city in the country, to investigate one of the most reportedly haunted buildings, Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. Originally built as Warden Castle in 1887, the building has stood on haunted ground for over 100 years. The castle is home for much more than a collection of oddities. It is also the home of tragedy and death. From a tragic fire that claimed the lives of 2 women in the 1940s, to being the final resting place for countless British soldiers that are buried under this popular tourist attraction. Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum has a lot to offer, to both the morbidly curious to the paranormal investigator. Hello and welcome to Local Haunts. I'm your host, Steve Christian. Joining me as usual is my co-host, Pamela Theresa, Medium in the Raw, along with the spooky crew, Savannah Huffingham.
What?
Luke Lurcher. And Kevin Remington. Also joining us tonight is our host, Benji Feldman. And our investigation begins right now. As our investigation began, Pamela went live on Facebook to bring our fans along on the investigation.
Anyway, those of y'all who watch this on a rebroadcast, pretty cool. Anyway, we're giving you a sneak peek. We're investigating how do you want to put it?
A big landmark in a very haunted city.
Yes.
How's that?
We've got our spooky crew. Now, y'all know that I am not the camera gal, so anyway, here we go. I'm doing a good job. So we got the spooky crew. Luke, can you see yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hello.
Savannah, woohoo. And Benji, our guide.
Hi, everybody.
Benji the Hunted tonight.
Oh my God, really?
I went there.
I'm really working in a way to help train your spiritual ear, because it is your spiritual ear where you can hear without the aid of machines, spirit communication. So we're using what Stephen calls the task camera, guys. You know, people, you want to hear spirit voices, it records that. So here it is right here. Am I getting it in shot? Oh, okay, there we are. So we have it rolling here. We'll be quiet here for a second. We'll see if we pick up anything right off the bat, because we're just right in the front door here. Haven't even started anything. All right, so we're gonna do a couple of rounds of this EVP and stop and rewind, and let's see what we got here. Perk up your spiritual ear, see if you can pick up a conversation. Now listen for what sounds, not my breath here. You know the sound of my breath. So I put that as a point of reference here. But for what sounds like whispers in between, and so you kind of have to tune your ear to the different layers of energy here. Let's see what we come up with. So there it is right here. Am I getting it in shot? Oh, okay, there we are. So we have it rolling here. We'll be quiet here for a second. We'll see if we pick up anything right off the bat, because we're just right in the front door here. Haven't even started anything. Right in the front door here. Haven't even started anything. Hey, Melissa. So when he stops and hits rewind, that's where he's gathering, where there is spirit sound. Anything. Haven't even started anything.
There's somebody talking there behind her there.
We're just right in the front door here. Haven't even started anything. 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 even started anything. Haven't even started anything.
Coming up on Local Haunts, as we investigate Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, you will believe.
People who come in this room feel depressed, anxious.
Go ahead and tell them what you're doing here.
We are recording live EVPs here in our local haunts investigation. We haven't even started the investigation yet. This is bonus stuff just for you guys online right now. So you're getting a little insider look at our local haunts investigation. So we're doing this just for you guys.
Already we caught an EVP of a female asking us to help her.
Haven't even started anything. Haven't even started anything. Haven't even started anything.
And now we caught a male spirit insisting that we help her. Of course, at all of our investigations, Pamela does help all of the earthbound spirits that want help, assistance in moving on, or what we call transitioning.
The thing that he likes me to be quiet a little bit more, but the way I know how the spirit world works, how the realms work, is they actually kind of piggyback. They need the energy of the physical realm, and that's how we can kind of bump up gathered evidence using our machines this way. Okay, well, he stopped us, so here we go. Wait, that was my bad. Go ahead and tell them what you're doing here.
We are recording live EVPs here in our local haunts investigation. We haven't even started the investigation yet. This is bonus stuff just for you guys online right now. So you're getting a little insider look at our local haunts investigation. So we're
Right
doing
there,
this
right there.
a little
Right there, come here.
online right now. So you're getting a little right now. So you're getting a little insider look at our local haunts investigation. So we're doing insider look at our local haunts investigation. So we're doing this just for you guys. So we're doing this just for you guys.
So it's a female who's communicating right now. A female is communicating right now. Well, part of the conversation of what we're having, that proves intelligence here. I'm kind of teaching people as we go along here. That's why I really like to communicate, because I know that they're talking around me and I can hear them, that they become a part of the communication. It proves intelligence, that they know what's going on around us here. And so an awful lot of times you'll find that they're actually part of the communication, part of the conversation here. And so what I was saying there a moment ago, that lady was like going, oh yeah, you know, basically you hear it as a whisper using this instrument that we're using, but actually I can hear her like you can hear me. Tune your spiritual ear to hearing that the layer, the earthbound layer, basically, the vibrational current of that. You will know, like my voice, that's a different sound. You're seeing that I'm talking, you can hear the rhythm of my voice and you can hear the breath that I take. But take a listen to when I'm actually talking, you'll hear that breath where there's no way I'm actually, like when I'm talking right now, I'm not taking a breath. So you'll hear her, it'll sound kind of like a breath. Anyway, this is kind of exciting. Y'all can do this with your phones. You can use any sort of recording device to pick up EVPs. What are those? What are EVPs?
Electronic voice phenomenon.
All I know is that I talk to the dead. I don't know all the fancy words. This is pretty exciting. Right off the bat, we're really just at the front door of this investigation. We haven't even stepped in, and it is a very active place. We're going to have a lot of fun, gather a lot of information for y'all.
It was time to begin our investigation.
All right, baby.
Here we go.
You're okay, you're coming.
House.
You have no idea where you're going? But
I don't know where I'm going, and that's cool.
I don't know where I'm
Oh,
going.
where you're going here.
But I sure know where I'm leaving.
And one call. Jesus.
Pamela would take the lead and guide us to where the spirits were. Benji was impressed that Pamela led us right to one of the known hotspots of activity.
Wow. All right, so Benji, come here.
Ma'am.
All right, so you can feel earthbound spirits. You can. Would you like to film? Now, okay, I'm going to teach you how this goes. So there's no logical explanation as far as why there should be a warmth right here, okay? So you can feel the vibrational current around you, the air, the density, the warmth. Well, I know. So if you sweep your hand through, you can feel the warmth, and we've got somebody up here. So, okay, the operative word here is sweep. So sweep like this, so you can feel that right here, and you can feel where he's sitting in that lamp. Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
The warmth, the density. So there we have earthbound spirit right here. So now people, your loved ones who have transitioned, they have a different feel. So this earthbound is a little bit more like we are, more in the earth realm. What people would call ghosts, but I call them earthbound because, that's just what I do here. So anyway, you feel?
Yeah, it's got a nice little warm and tingle to it.
Uh-huh.
Kind of a dampness to it almost.
And so, as far as we're really hardcore about evidence and using your physical body as a tool, certain sensations that you get. Sometimes people feel like a wetness or a heaviness or a tingle. And it's a little bit different, like your loved ones who have transitioned, who we would call heavenly. You can still feel them, only they're a little bit lighter. Here, like feel right next to you, right here, because you got somebody standing next to you. You feel that warmth.
Mm-hmm.
So you can feel it like right in here.
So now let me ask you a question. What kind of feeling are you getting from these spirits? Because I know the background of this.
Okay, so I'm just going 101,
Okay.
The 101, as far as like, okay, now you can feel, because have you ever done that before?
No.
See? So now you're gonna know, you're like, for you, I feel like there's somebody in here, a presence, and you'll know exactly where to go. You just have that feeling to go, and you'll validate up with your physical body. Oh, sure enough.
So that's something that people have experienced before, somebody sitting in this guy's lap?
Not so much that. People who come in this room feel depressed, anxious.
Coming up on Local Haunts.
Is she looking down that archway?
I can't see.
Down that arch, if that's where you're looking, there is a real Iron Maiden back there.
Okay.
People who come in this room feel depressed, anxious. They get that stuff.
Well, let's look at logic too, because they're coming back in a darker room, and so that'll revert back to a point of power, like into childhood. They don't like the dark, creepy floors and such. So that's true as well. Okay, so that's true. So we use science too as well, but also too, on top of that is some of the history of the people that are in here. Also too, let's keep in mind that every place really has like this is haunted. Some places are actually more active than other places. Okay, that's true. St. Augustine is well known for the fact that there's a lot of activity here. However, it doesn't mean that the same people who are in the earthbound realm are going to stick around here. So you're going to have a lot of people that are earthbound that will be coming in here too as well. That's why sometimes when you walk into this place where you'll feel something a little different. Like something shifted and changed. So I feel the same other people, but I also feel something new. So that just means that more people are coming in that aren't even attached to the history of the place.
These tourists.
They get, yeah, you get
those.
Yeah.
You get a lot of what I call like the hitchhikers. So, but we'll pay attention to what I was talking about with like the transition too as well, because that's relevant. You experience the spirit world, you experience all realms of the spirit world. So it's not just the earthbound realms that you're experiencing. Your people who are on the other side, you can feel them as well. It just gives you, and there's a good way, it's good to kind of compare and contrast, like the feeling of him over here, right here, and at the same time, the feeling of her right here, somebody that you have who has passed and that you're connected to, a female. So you'll feel, you see, does that make sense for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so somebody who's around you all the time. So we're not going to bust out in a read, but I definitely know you're very loved. So if you can, compare to stand here and do this yourself, you'll feel earthbound presence, somebody who's not fully transitioned, whilst at the same time feeling her, the difference, and like kind of go in and out and say, okay, so this is heavenly, which is, everybody's, has a heavenly spark to define, but this person is just not ready to leave the physical realm yet. So, Anyway, that's just a little cherry on top. You'll be thinking about this later on, going, okay, well, for some reason, she's coming. She's like standing like right in front, like right behind her now. That's where she is with you. So you'll feel it sometimes off your right side, her, right?
And I do,
Yeah.
and people have, sounds great, taking pictures in here or other places, and I have alerts. I track them, I don't know why, it's just kind of like, come on, let's hang out. It's exactly what happens.
Well, it's because you're sensitive yourself and you're tuned into the spirit realm.
I
So
am.
it's just,
I think, oh wow, I didn't know that.
very quickly you were able to, and so that's part of the process. Now, it makes logical sense because the earthbound realms, too, as the heavenly realms, is solid. And so like when you're in the earthbound realm, and if you've not made your decision to leave the physical realm yet, as far as transitioning, well, you still see that seat over there. So, okay, I want to sit down. Like, they like to sit down, too. You know, sometimes you'll hear, like, cooking or music. Well, they're kind of enjoying that in their own realm, too. That's why there's some sounds that happen here that don't make sense to the space.
Well, it was once a hotel too at one point, right?
This was a hotel, it was a private home.
Okay, so what was she? We'll get to that. Anyway, so
Sorry.
So as far as now, I know somebody's sitting over here. Now I want you to use what you just learned a minute ago, and actually you'll feel where logically you shouldn't be feeling,
So we'll walk over here.
and just feel. But the most important thing is to like
Feeling for the contrast.
the contrast. So that's why you won't want to stay in them like this. You'll go right here, and then you'll feel a lot more solid. So from out
It's
here,
right here, because if I come from
Yeah,
this side,
yeah.
it stops.
you can feel.
Yeah.
There's somebody sitting here. And so then think about the physical body. Okay, about right there. Okay, there's the head. Okay, and that would be her earthbound. There's her head. And so this is where she's sitting. So,
Savannah calls this ghost groping.
so we're
I feel like the world's largest guinea pig right now.
but you know what? It's kind of cool. It's just another tool that you can use to validate you, where you're feeling and you're sensing somebody in your presence. You can validate it up with, and as I was going to say before, I've done this deliberately and on purpose where there's an AC vent blowing down to her logically, where it's like really cold in some place. I'm like, you shouldn't be able to feel the warmth through that AC, you know, the cool air. You'll still feel their warmth, their vibrational current too. So, it is a lot of people, you'll feel the cool breezes and such like that, but that's actually the higher vibes bringing in. So just because you've left the physical body and decide not to leave the physical realm yet, your people who are around you, who love you, who are transitioned, they're still with you. So indeed, I come out with this, and a lot of people who have been schooled in, all things ghost tours and such like that, they get this idea that it's the coolness that's actually the earthbound spirits, but it's not. They're more warm, they're more dense. That's why if you go into a room, it's really heavy, and it feels warm and heated. But the cooler air, what you're feeling, is actually the higher vibes, like the angelic realms, your loved ones who are transitioned who are heavenly. So when you feel that cool with the warm, that's what's going on there too as well.
Coming up on Local Haunts.
I just felt something as I came through.
Exactly.
Walking, I didn't even like wave my arms around.
I definitely have one hell of an axe in the head right now.
That's funny if you say axe in the head.
Yeah.
Behind me,
Yeah.
all kinds of torture devices.
Okay.
Next time on Local Haunts.
We got physical bench right
I
now.
just felt something as I came through.
Exactly.
Walking, I didn't even like wave my arms around.
Exactly.
We continue our investigation of Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in St. Augustine.
I definitely have one hell of an axe in the head right now.
That's funny if you say axe in the head.
Yeah.
Behind me,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of torture devices.
Okay.
You will believe.